It's time for our daily dose of Cope, and we have Panthero Blackstone filling in at the news anchor's desk for the Leopards News Network. We have some tasty faces to talk about that have been eaten, and the betrayal is predictable. This first story is kind of wild. Iranian man detained by ICE was a Trump supporter. I will repeat that. Iranian man detained by ICE is a Trump supporter. Let's get into this story. An Alabama woman is saying that her Iranian husband who was detained by ICE was a supporter of Trump. I am sure that his brown face is seasoned to perfection. According to Newsweek, Morgan Karimi told the outlet that her husband, Rivbar Karimi, supported Trump and his immigration policies. Rivbar was detained by ICE Sunday in Locust Fork and has been held at the Etowah County Detention Center. My husband himself, even being from Iran, supported Trump, his immigration policies, and understood he was trying to protect the American people and was praying he helped free the Iranian people. Woo! Roaches for Raid, chickens for KFC, OMG. This man wears the American flag proudly. Someone who is so proud to be here is at risk of being robbed of building the life he has dreamed of for so long. His groom's cake at our wedding was an American flag cake. After Rivbar's detainment, the Department of Homeland Security referenced his military past in Iran while saying he was eligible to be deported due to not completing a procedural step to become a citizen. Rivbar served as a sniper in the Iranian army from 2018 to 2021. However, Morgan's wife has said his military service is being exaggerated and her husband is not a terrorist and has never harmed an American. This is a misprint. Morgan is the wife, is not Morgan's wife, so that's a misprint. Morgan said military service was mandatory for Rivbar to obtain a passport to leave Iran. Rivbar came to the country on a K-1 visa as Morgan's fiancé in October 2024, and his military history was included in the application to obtain the visa. This process is completed through the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, which is part of the Department of Homeland Security. AL.com asked DHS why was Rivbar detained this week since his military background should have been known to the agency. The facts remain that Rivbar Karimi is in the country illegally. He failed to change his status, a legal requirement, and is removable from the United States, the agency said in response. President Trump and cosplay Barbie are not going to ignore the rule of law. Karimi reportedly served as an Iranian army sniper from 2018 to 2021, and at the time of his arrest, in his possession, he had an Islamic Republic of Iran Army identification card. He's currently in ICE custody where he will remain pending removal proceedings. He came here thinking that these people think that they get tangentially to whiteness and then they are going to be the exception. He married a white woman. Maybe that's the reason why he thought he was tangentially white. Maybe he thought it was sexually transmitted whiteness. I do not know. Many red states are welfare states, meaning they need federal funds. That's the reason why it's so wild that they applaud things like stripping of social safety nets. But the reality is they don't want social safety nets for the coloreds. The welfare queen stereotype was attached to black women, and now they're like, oh no, we can't let the coloreds get SNAP. We can't let the coloreds get student loan deferments or wipe away student loans. Absolutely not. But many of these red states actually need federal funds, so they stripped everybody else's capacity to get these social safety nets, but they also stripped their own. So they literally cut off their nose to spite their faces as well as everybody else's. This is an article from Politico. Uniquely vulnerable, Louisiana girds for mega bill fallout. Cuts to federal health care and food assistance program would have deep ramifications in the state. And their own lawmakers did this to them, but they keep voting in these lawmakers. Let's look at this one. MAGA support runs deep here in House Speaker Mike Johnson's home turf, but Louisiana officials from both parties are increasingly worried about the consequences for their constituents of the Johnson-led mega bill that's been fiercely debated on Capitol Hill. That still evolving proposal would overhaul healthcare and food assistance programs to pay for tax cuts and other aspects of Donald Trump's agenda. Tax cuts for the ultra wealthy, that because they need more houses and vacations and all of that. Louisiana is poorer, sicker, and hungrier than most states, and the deep cuts to Medicaid have a growing number of Republicans in Louisiana worried that Congress and the White House are going too far. They are anxious that rural hospitals, whose finances are highly dependent on federal Medicaid funds, would face crippling revenue losses and be forced to shut down, depriving all residents of accessible health care. Did they not know this when they were debating and creating these bills? Like, you would think that the lawmakers from Louisiana would stop this, but no, they were cheering it on along with MAGA Mike Johnson. What is wrong with these people? The blowback over Medicaid represents the most significant crack between GOP leaders in Washington and in the states so far in this administration, according to interviews with nearly 24 Louisiana state leaders. Yes, we need to dial it in, but we can do that and do it responsibly without endangering people's lives or access to quality health care. It said State Representative Jack McFarland, a Republican who represents a North Louisiana district. I live an hour from the closest hospital, and I'm in a rural community. You close my rural hospital, people are going to die because they will not make it. In a formal appeal to Washington, the state legislature, controlled by a GOP supermajority, unanimously passed a resolution this month calling for no cuts to Medicaid. More than 1.6 million Louisianans, roughly 35% of the state's population, count on it for health care. Under the House budget bill, which would impose the first ever federal work requirements on Medicaid recipients, up to 158,000 Louisianans are predicted to lose coverage. The Senate version of the bill threatens even more low-income residents. That's why community leaders, healthcare providers, Democrats, and even some Republicans warn that this deep red state has the most to lose under Trump's big, beautiful bill BS that Republicans are desperately trying to get across the finish line in the coming days. Louisiana is uniquely vulnerable, said Jan Moeller, executive director of Invest in Louisiana, a nonpartisan think tank. Every state would feel the effects of the reconciliation bill, but Louisiana would feel them much more than most. Okay. It says Democrats and healthcare providers and even some Republicans. You would think that Republicans would give a damn about their own constituents. They act like they are the party of family and life and blah, blah, blah. They like to talk like they are Christian and Jesus people and all of this, but they can't stand the poor. And poor people and these Christian people, their constituents keep voting them in because the lawmakers act like they are Christian, but they don't give a damn about these people. At what point will the voters actually do something and maybe vote something different? I don't know. Maybe the hospitals need to close. Maybe they do need to be snatched from their SNAP benefits. Maybe that has to happen before they do something different. I don't know. So I got this post from the You Voted For That subreddit. It's titled, I voted for President Trump and I still would. So this is Ivan and Tara De La O. I'm not sure which person is writing. Is it Ivan or is it Tara? I don't know. But this person says, I rarely am political online. Let me be honest. I voted for President Trump and I still would because I am not a one-issue voter. That being said, we as Republicans need a middle ground with regards to immigration. We have people in this country who are hardworking. Many of them are small business owners. We should be deporting dangerous criminals. That being said, we need a pathway to citizenship for people who are already living here and raise families. Didn't the Democrats say something about this? The Bible says in Leviticus 19:33-34 to treat strangers who live in your country as natives. This stance is biblical. Period. We are going to lose the Hispanic voters if we don't get it together, Republicans. That sounds like a liberal talking point. Wasn't there DACA and Dreamers and all of this? The fact that they act like Republicans need to do something versus just do something that has been laid out is astounding to me. This person says that they are not a one issue voter. Okay, well, this issue does impact many of the things. And he said that he was going to mass deport people. He said this. There were signs and everything. And for no particular purpose, I'm posting this picture again.
I was a Trump supporter. I don't know how long I can keep doing this.
You should have stopped years ago, but continue.
I have a construction company, and not a fucking thing is getting done.
So here we are, in the midst of the consequences of our own actions. Got it. Continue.
This is what I get.
Yes.
This is what I fucking get. Nothing but white boys. Takes 4 days to do a 1 day job. I might have fucked up.
You might have fucked up? No, you 100% fucked up. But the sad and horrible thing is that you only think you fucked up because it's directly affecting you. You don't care about the millions of other people that it's affecting in the United States. This is 100% what you get when you ignore that he's a felon. When you ignore when he said, grab her by the you know what. When you ignore that he is liable for sexual assault. When you ignore that he has done scams and he says racist, horrible, homophobic things. This is what you get. Because the racism was there in his language all the time. You could hear him speak his racism every single day, and you chose to ignore it. So yeah, this is what you have to deal with. And it doesn't matter which race we're talking about. Donald Trump only wants white people in this country, and you ignored that. So yeah, you're dealing with it. All my love.